What's good people? I'm riding, having to go wherever I gotta go. That ain't none of y'all business. But as I'm riding, I'm sitting up here thinking about how we are put in situations that I'm gonna say it as bluntly as I possibly can, and I'm saying it bluntly like this for a reason, because I know this is something that a lot of people deal with, but we don't address. We get put into situations and we hold on to things. We have these things that we believe in and that we wait on and that we are constantly leaning on God for, that never manifest in our lives. And it puts us in one or two situations. It either puts us in a situation to where we're angry with God and we don't want to admit we're angry with God, or we're just confused about what's going on and we don't want to admit that we're confused about what's going on. Either way it goes, we are afraid to go to God and say, look, bro, you need to break this down for me. I need you to explain something to me, because this ain't hitting. And it's tormenting. I have to admit, it's tormenting to be in this type of situation. I've been mad at God before. I've been pissed off at God about some things that people told me would never happen, and I didn't understand that it wasn't God. But considering the fact that it didn't manifest, I had some anger towards God. In some things in life, I still have confusion towards some of the things that God says, and people can sit up here and tell you all day long God is not the author of confusion, and if you're confusing, it's the enemy. And I have to sit up here and say, one, point that out in the Bible to me. Point it out where it says God is not the author of confusion. I'm not saying it isn't in there. I'm just saying I want to see it. That's all. I want to see it, and I want to sit up here and say it's not true. Unless you want to get down to how I break this down. We say God is not the author of confusion. I believe that. I really do believe that God is not the author of confusion. But the reason why I say point it out, and the reason why I want to go against that, play the devil's advocate for lack of a better term, is because there are millions of us walking around confused about something that we believe God promised to us that we have not seen manifested, about something that we believe should have happened when we got to God. And it goes beyond what these preachers preach in the church. It goes beyond what anybody else, what is happening to anybody else. It'll be certain things that we've read in the Bible ourselves that resonated with us on a level that we know is God. There'll be certain thoughts and moments that we've had to where there's nothing on the face of this earth that can tell you that it's not God, and it hasn't manifested in our lives yet. We do get confused. So while God may not be the author of confusion, the mistake that people make is acting like, as humans, when we serve God, we're in the wrong for being confused about certain things that are relative to God. There's nothing wrong with being confused about things that are relative to God. What's wrong is how you react to that confusion. Is that confusion going to make you go to God and get answers? Or is that confusion going to turn you away and make you feel like God ain't real? A lot of us are in a position to where we let that confusion turn us away and make it feel like God isn't real, when in reality, the confusion that we have is exactly what we should be going. I can't even get the words out. The confusion that we have should lead us closer to God. We should be able to go to God for the answers, even if it's something in our lives. We should be able to tell God if something happens that upsets us and we're not understanding why it happened, or we're not understanding why it didn't happen. I could really go deep into this and talk about how people cease to exist. I can really go deep into that and talk about how we get mad, upset, and confused about how people cease to exist, and that's just life. There are a lot of things that we get confused about that are literally just life. It doesn't sound good. It's unfortunate that it's like that, but it literally is just life, unfortunately. But there are some personal things that we go through and that we experience that we get absolutely confused about. So while God may not be the author of confusion, what we need to do is start changing what we say and act like, we need to start changing our methods. We need to keep saying God is not the author of confusion. Because even though I said I challenged that, I wanted to see people really start breaking down the fact that even though God is not the author of confusion, we still can be confused about some things that God has allowed to happen or not to happen in our lives. But just before I hopped in the car trying to get to this appointment, I was in my house. And I'm fussing while I'm talking to God. I'm not fussing at God, but I'm fussing while I'm talking to God because there's certain things that I thought should have manifested in my life by now that couldn't manifest. And as I'm fussing while I'm talking to God, I hear this little voice drop inside of me and say, why don't you just admit that you're mad at God? And this is the whole reason for this video. So I hope you get something from it. I do. But while I'm confused about something and it's got me irate and I'm going to God about it saying, explain, what am I supposed to do? This is blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. What am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? I hear this little voice tell me, why don't you just admit that you're mad at God? And my response to that voice saying, why don't you just admit that you're mad at God, is this: how can I be mad at God when I know whatever God had happen in my life will work for his glory? Ooh, hit that bump wrong, trying to avoid the car. But seriously, that was what popped up in my head. How can I be mad at God when I know whatever happened in my life that did work out or did not work out happened for God's glory, not mine? I may suffer, and this is what a lot of people don't understand about God. I know it sounds cold and it could sound callous to you at first. Before I truly accepted this, it sounded callous to me. I may suffer things that I feel I don't deserve to suffer. I may go through some things that I feel I don't deserve to go through. Look at what Jacob and Joshua went through. Look at what Moses went through. Look at what Jesus went through. Anybody who did anything spectacular in the Bible has some type of suffering that they went through. And they didn't deserve that suffering. But they did it for God's glory. And the life that we should live, the life that we should chase after, whether we like how things happen in our life, happen to us or not, if we really truly believe in God like we say we believe in God, then we should have an understanding that even if it doesn't work out for us, finally look back. Good Lord. Some people just feel like they can't get hit by a car. Not saying that I would do that, but I'm just saying, point being, is that even if it doesn't work out or not to our benefit, we need to understand that it's going to work out to God's benefit, that it's going to work out to God's glory, that it's going to benefit somebody else more than it benefited us. And we need to be okay with the fact that sometimes, even in serving God, it means that we're going to take a loss. Plain and simple. That's the only way to look at it. You're going to get your feelings hurt serving and worshiping God. That may be something that you experience that you don't want to experience, serving and worshiping God. You're going to have things that you go through serving and worshiping God, period. That you're going to see your family go through things serving and worshiping God. You're going to see so many things happen that you're not going to like happening. People are going to talk about you. People are going to ridicule you. People are going to laugh at you behind your back. Some of the same ones who say they're Christian are going to be the ones who treat you the worst. Some of the same ones who say they love God, who scream, shout, and holler, and do all of this in the church, are going to be the ones who treat you worse than anybody. And they're going to use God to do it. You're going to suffer. You cannot get around suffering. It's a part of life. But faith is knowing that even if it doesn't work out for my benefit, it's going to work out for God's benefit. And as long as it works out for God's benefit, because God is who I serve, it's going to work out for my benefit too. If that makes any amount of sense to you, it makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. But that's just it. So keep in mind, confusion. I'm gonna find somewhere else to park because I can't get out right here. I'm gonna just have to walk across the street, which I don't want to do. Keep in mind these two things though. Keep in mind these two things. Just because you're confused about something doesn't mean that God is offering up that confusion. The confusion could be the fact that you just don't understand God's will, God's intentions, and God's motives. That could be the confusion that you're talking about. And that's still not God being the author of confusion. It's just you not understanding what's going on. It's just as simple as that. Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that we as people are going to go through some things. And it may not always work out to our glory. It may not always work out for our benefit. But as long as we believe in God, it's going to work out some kind of way. And that is literally all I have to say while I try to find somewhere else to park to make this appointment. Anyway, I am CW, child of God nonetheless. Remember my 5 favorite things. Stay focused, stay faithful, stay true to yourself, treat other people how you want to be treated, and give God all the respect and glory that God deserves. There's no other place apart, because God is doing a whole lot in your life than you could ever imagine. I love you, and I know Jesus does too. Peace.